Welcome to the BDS We Global, Trusted Shooters, the movement for another People's Party, and the hashtag Draft Jesse Party. All convention, but we aren't the official hashtag Draft Jesse convention. We're the unofficial one.
The official, unofficial Draft Jesse convention.
And we're joined today by the coldest. All right, you ready for this?
The only one. Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, let's start out with a little advertisement from Jesse. Go ahead, hit play now.
So anyway, I've lit a candle for each of us here.
Hashtag candles.
So what we are going to do is have a conversation about the state of the country and what we might be doing about it. You were a Navy SEAL in Vietnam, is that correct?
Well, actually, in my day, we were two units. We were the underwater demolition teams as well as the Navy SEALs. And when I deployed my first deployment, I was a member of the last underwater demolition team, UDT-12, who deployed to Vietnam as an entire team in February of '71. And then I won't go into detail because a lot of that's classified, but then they broke us down into different type of deployments. But you all go through the same training. I went through SEAL SBI, so you're completely interchangeable. One unit works a little bit more in the water, while the other unit works a little bit more on land.
And am I right that the skills involved in underwater demolition are also useful in renegade politics?
We gotta think revolutionary. You gotta be ready to elect Che Guevara.
Gotta be.
Because I will change things if I won.
So that's the intro. I think that was funny as shit intro. His grin, I'm gonna rewind and show it.
Go
Like,
ahead.
The thing is, it's renegade politics, and he just smirks up. It's some VMAS shit. And like I was telling Bruce, it's almost like the joke is the VMAS is about to kind of want to blow up Parliament. And Jesse's fucking grin looks very similar, the same grin. He wants to blow up the whole political system. I was like, yes.
Yeah. I just like his the after that little intro, the coldness in his voice. Whenever he was like, "If I get in, I will change." It was never, it was never in doubt. If or when, it's like I will.
Yeah,
Some cold shit.
He went hard in that interview.
He did.
All right, you ready?
Yeah, go ahead. Hit play.
What happened in the case of Dwight Eisenhower, which I had no idea of. And again, it falls back to what we're taught in school.
So Bruce wanted to bring this up, and then I did too. Is notice the electoral map. It's basically the Trump areas. So again, historical precedent again is real. You vote for a populace that represents all but the extreme South, as proven here back when the Democrats were still the party of the KKK, and populism can decimate racism. It happens every time. I still believe Texas potentially would draft Jesse more than they would vote for Trump if given a real option.
As someone from Texas, I can definitely tell you there's more people in Texas who are, it's sort of like a changing of the guard. All these Republicans, like all their kids, they're not Republicans. At least most of them, I might add. But speaking on the map thing, though all those blue states, those are not all the Confederate states, but those are some of the most prominent Confederate states, and it's very obvious to see, that they're always anti
Yep.
doing what's best for the country. Why? Because those are the states of traitors. Let's just call it what it is. Yeah, I'm being toxic. I'm not. It is what it is. Whenever you want to bring about, massive change for the betterment of the poor or the marginalized and the criminalized, it's a lot of people from these states who are cited as being against that. So it's just something that you gotta bring to light. These guys, they always seem to be on the wrong side of history. But just something real easy to point out. It's honestly fucking hilarious. The the, those are the dudes who, when we were taught about the Civil War here in America, it's very, at least where I was in Texas, they were like, yeah, the Confederates were the bad guys, and people come out of that, of those lessons, those couple of months we're going over the Civil War, and think the Confederates were the good guys. So it's almost like they just didn't pay attention to anything. Because to this day, we still got people saying the Confederates were the good guys. No. But you got anything to add?
No.
All right, hit and play.
Which I think is highly questionable today. The things I'm learning today, I'm now questioning, why wasn't I taught this in school? Why didn't I know anything about this in school? Prime example, that thing in Tulsa, Oklahoma with the black people. Never once in school was I ever taught about that major event where the black people were slaughtered in Tulsa, Oklahoma. That wasn't taught in school when I went there. So, to me, it's a case of, we got to get our history in line and start telling the public the truth, no matter how much it hurts. The truth is what it is.
As George Carlin said, the purpose of school is to make you just smart enough to operate the machines. And it turns out, actually, we offshored the machines, so even that's not necessary anymore. It's time to make school function, and you can deduce an awful lot, not from what's taught in school, but what's absent from the curriculum. You're quite right about that.
And unfortunately, we've lost the voice of George Carlin, which we so dire need today. We need George Carlin back. If there's any way to resurrect him and Muhammad Ali, those are the two people that we need to bring back from the dead.
I agree. I miss them both. Bill Hicks as well. There are a number of people whose help we could use at this moment.
You got the stopping point?
Yeah, shout out to Carlin. That's all it goes without saying. Bill Hicks is awesome. Alex Jones totally stole his fucking look. It's like, don't your face look like this? Yeah.
All right, so I guess I'll do my whole little spiel right here. The thing with the black people in Tulsa is, of course, the Tulsa massacres in the neighborhood of Greenwood. Very surprised. To me, I was surprised that a lot of people didn't know about this. This is something growing up in a black household. I'm told about a lot of this stuff. It's sort of how I was surprised when people didn't know what Juneteenth was. But yeah, the things and events like that in our own country's history need to be shown to light. It needs to be common knowledge. In Germany,
Nice.
they are very much taught about the Holocaust in school. It's a very big deal. And then but once you're out on the streets, and, if you're a foreigner, you don't go to like a German bar and bring up the Holocaust.
Why would you?
Sort of how like they don't want to talk about, hey, my granddad, was killing Jews or whatever.
Whoa.
Maybe that's their equivalent to, our Confederates. How we have people saying the South will rise again. Maybe there's some dudes in Germany who are like, oh, the Nazis had it right. They were the good guys. But I don't know nothing about that.
I
Sort of
feel
like how it.
that might have been part of from what I heard, that was part of the anti-war stance for World War II. For why it took so long was the Southern Democrats were against the intervening in war with against Nazi Germany, because they agreed with them on a lot of stuff.
Like, these Nazis, there's some good people over there. Maybe not, not all Nazis are bastards, of course, ACAB. But, it's that sort of whole thing in Japan where in middle school they are taught about World War II from a Japanese perspective. And then they develop this weird thing where some, not all, of course, develop this kind of like weird fetish-like view of Nazis. We're like, oh, Nazis are so cool because they're all militaristic and disciplined. And then they go to college and they learn about what actually happened. And then like, oh, that was mad cringe. You know me back in the day.
Mad cringe.
That's how I put it. So
Hey
we
man,
have
I
to
didn't know.
acknowledge.
I
Oh,
didn't
go ahead.
really realize until recently that the Japanese were such psychos on
You
their
didn't?
stance of
Oh.
war and shit. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
you figured some type of Eastern
just look at
philosophy would have landed on them
kamikazes,
too,
dude.
but
Just look
no.
at kamikazes. That was seen as an honor.
Yeah, they were a little fucked. They were a little
It was
bit
like,
too
I'm just gonna
diehard. Hey, that's why it
go
shows.
drive. Go
You don't want to
drive
be
your
too
plane.
diehard.
Go drive your plane into a boat or into anything, and you'll be honored by your ancestors. Like,
that's-
yeah, we, that whole thing. We will die before we lose, fam. I don't give a fuck.
Oh, they're pushing them back in Rochester. Shit's getting a little tense. You know, I do appreciate doing both of these at the same time. The goal of this vid is definitely the Draft Jesse shit, but the also other goal was still to continue the command center. I don't exactly know what sparked this incident in Rochester right now, but there's a small to medium size protester group out upset about something, and there's a decent line of cops just deep. Some people were getting their eyes cleaned, so there might have been some chemical agents being used by the state Gestapo. So I'm glad this happens during this video.
Those federales.
Yeah, so the police state's out, dude. All right, you ready for the
Yeah,
continue?
please stay on. One second.
Go ahead.
We have to teach all of our history as a nation, not just some of it. We cannot gentrify our history because, as the quote goes, those who don't learn from history are doomed to repeat it. And if you look around in 2020, you see a lot of the same problems popping up because a very large group of people were not properly educated on a lot of these matters. And they only speak half truths and speak in incrementalisms.
Truth.
And whenever the protesters show up to our president's doorstep, he decides to go into a bunker instead of face them.
The highest diplomat, I think is the right word. Double check though. The highest negotiator on behalf of the government to the people was hiding in a bunker during height tensions in his localized area. Like, think about that.
That shows
The
just
highest
how...
person up ran. From a
And-
democracy standpoint, it really proves that it's hollow. Like, you can't go out there and talk to them. No, there's no way I could. I'm not the art of the deal tremendous guy. I'm the hide in the bunker pussy guy. Oh, thanks, dude. So, like,
And people
useless.
want to re-elect him. And
Yeah.
he probably will get re-elected if Draft Jesse does not prevail.
yeah, just
That
fake
is the
democracies.
horrors. Remember, anyone who comes across this video, do not let the mainstream media fool you. What you see in all these videos and all the cops and everything, killing innocent lives, tear gassing their own people, beating their own citizens, this is
Someone's
Trump's
gotta beat 'em.
America. This is Trump's
This
America.
is the oligarchs' America.
Yes. This is, this is the world we live in. If Trump gets reelected, there is no light at the end of the tunnel. There is no better side to this. This is it. We are at a crucial crux in history where we are either going to learn from our past and better ourselves, or we're just going to repeat the cycle.
Yeah, that's the good thing about recording this right now, though, also, is that, like, to his point, like, I truly disagree with these people on the internet. Even these lefty dudes types that some of them are, even the Ryan Knight type. I think we're past this politics part. I think if we're not, like, this shit's happening day to day. It seems to be even warming up lately. Last week is, like, there's a big incident in L.A., there was a big incident in D.C. with police and people getting shot around police. There was also that one that was supposedly a suicide, which seems like it might have been that, but it was still a real sketchy situation in Louisville because of a lack of de-escalation and transparency. So I think we're at the point where if you're not part of the hashtag draft movement 2020, I think we're there. I think we need to do this.
You're a red coat.
Yeah, this is my point. Is how come it was cool when the CIA tried to do the Nicholas when they tried to impeach Maduro with the fake election for the other guy? We should do the same. We should just everybody vote. We should do a blockchain citizen voting system. Everybody votes draft. We come to our own elections, our own results, and then we show up and kick the people out of government, regardless of how the election comes out in November 3rd. Everybody's bitching about would Trump accept the election loss? Would Hillary accept the election loss? Will Biden accept the election loss? How about the American people will not accept an American election loss? How about
one.
that one?
That's a good one.
You know,
I like
how about that?
I like that.
So, I mean, politics is cute and all, but the more I read on history, is that politics is bullshit. And that quote that politics is the entertainment division of the military-industrial complex is extremely true. They're having you debate over stupid shit, opposed to the shit that truly matters.
Our president is like some reality star used to do wrestling guy. So, quite literally, he is an entertainment tool.
And let the sheeple vote for their R's and D's if they want. If you like your oligarchy plan, you can keep them, to quote Obama.
They clearly love their oligarchy.
Go ahead and vote in a blockchain version, citizen-held election, tallied and everything. Vote for them. But I bet you'll still lose.
Motherfuckers love they oligarchy.
Like I said, you could vote in your local PTA mom. I think they'd be a better congressperson than any of these people at this point.
You saying a Karen is a better politician than the people in office right now?
Maybe not a Karen type PTA mom, but any type. All right, you ready?
Yeah. Let me get my phone booted back up and go ahead and hit play.
What won the election for me was they allowed me in the debates, because at the primary, I was polling 9%. Hubert Humphrey, Skip Humphrey was at 46%, and Mayor or former Senator Norm Coleman was at about 33%.
Typical Coleman.
Coleman never changed through the whole election from his polling. He was always within the margin of error. Humphrey dropped from 46 to 28. I went up to 37 because also they predicted only a 50% voter turnout because it was a non-presidential. It turned out they were wrong. 60% came out. I was polling 27% the day before the election. They didn't count on that 10%. I won with 37%.
They never do.
That is the key. The key is to hit the 50% of people in this country that do not vote. You must motivate them to come out. Give them a reason to do it. I did it in Minnesota. They told me not to go to college campuses. They told me young people didn't vote. I told them they've never had Jesse the Body before. Send me to every campus you got in this state, and I did. They were sold out to the rafters. And let me brag for a moment and state the headlines in the Minneapolis paper after I won. Ventura wins. Sub-headline. Throngs of young voters provide the margin. So I got to the young people, and they put me over the top. You'll get the biggest voter turnout if you have a third choice, some legitimate third choice that people can go to. Because, like I said, in Minnesota, they projected a 50% voter turnout. It turned out to be 60. I was polling 27% in a three-way race. I won with 37. So it was that 10% that they did not count on that showed up at the polls. You know when we knew we were going to win it? We have also same-day registration here, which makes it great. We found out the morning of the election at the University of Minnesota, the lines were around the block to vote. And that's that morning when we said, by God, we're going to win this thing. Because there were more, and they also stated more people were lining up to register than were lining up to vote. So I knew they're not registering to vote for a Democrat or Republican newly. They're registering because someone else has entered the game. And I happen to be the fortunate one who did that.
So that was one of those moments where in the chat it says Jesse Ventura has entered the lobby and you see the Democrats and Republicans leaving the game. Is that what that is?
Yeah, that's what you see. You see the pro player entering the match. You're like, bro, we already lost. I want to leave. I don't like it here.
So a couple things he hits on that's really inspiring from the speech, and the why I leave this in here. It's because he's been through the political process, so he can give a different stance on it from the one few politicians who like never completely ever sell out. In that it's focus on the youth. Go out, get their vote, get their support, find out what they
Youth
like
of
and shit,
America.
and what they'll be willing
Youth
to
of
get
America.
into. Bernie proved that's how it is, how it works still to this date. These are the truths we hold and that remain true. He proves that there's still a formula on how to win politics, and there's ways to win politics, which is not often ever talked about, and just blaming other people for why politics sucks, or you suck, or they suck, or somebody. So the whole state's status of the issue sucks. It's still possible, and focus on that it can be done. Every once in a while you do need to hear a positive story about somebody actually fucking doing it, and not just talking about it, or how it'd be nice to have policies like Medicare for all. Somebody actually went out and got goddamn
And
elected.
fucking did it. Yeah. So the main thing I took away from this is
Why's your voice so?
huh?
So
This is my This is my professional voice.
Oh, all right, hello, dude.
So, the main thing I took away from this was we see the Democrats and how they operate and how they want to take voters away from Republicans. That's the big thing. How do we get more Republicans to vote Democrats? The Democrat solution to this is to become Republicans. What Jesse has proven is you don't focus on the motherfuckers who are already going to vote with a D and a R, no matter who it is. You focus on the majority. Everyone's talking about all these racist cats want to talk about the silent majority. Let's talk about the silent majority that don't fucking vote. You focus on those cats. You got to get the young people and the people who have essentially lost hope in thinking that they should even vote because they don't think their vote matters. You got to inspire those people to vote. And the only way to inspire people like that is you can't be part of the status quo. You got to be a trailblazer. You got to have some oomph to, something different. You got to be about something. Go ahead.
Well, I just think that's kind of the point of populism, and that hashtag Draft Jesse movement is to appeal to the non-voting sect. Even if it's like, hey, you don't vote, you are not going to vote anyways. You'll come vote for us. We'll actually offer you something. That's at the end of the day is what it is. It's like, hey, if you don't vote, then one of those fucking corrupt people win. One or corrupt or non-perfect or non really populist, got some flaws in their political theory. Out of the major 5 that I've researched, and it's like, why not draft someone that's pretty fucking excellent on among like every issue, and where he's not excellent, he's a real person. He's actually open to more knowledge, like George Washington type. Like, I don't understand what's wrong with a politician like that, where they don't go in thinking they have all the answers, but they're willing to come to new answers if they don't have the answers. That's how presidency is literally supposed to be. It was supposed to be after the George Washington model, and not this Trump fascism model, or this I have dementia model that Joe Biden's offering you. Like, how does that help anybody?
Yeah, you have to be open to new ideas and all that. But the main thing is, let me see if I can put this in a proper word. You can't be a fucking bitch. And because throughout all our lives, growing up, at some point, at least I was, and I think a lot of other people were too, you're told you gotta settle. And be like, oh, you can't get this, but I'll give you some of that. I think as a society and as a human collective, we gotta stop settling for less, and we gotta come together and be like, it should be normal to demand more from your elected officials. It should be not even normal, it should be expected to demand more for your elected officials. And if you don't completely agree with those elected officials, you should not vote them in.
Yeah, we have
it's just plain and simple.
We've got a breaking news. Also, I don't know, people in black, quote unquote Antifa, but just people in black in Portland warming up. But as you see, we have a police march going on in Rochester, New York. Shit has continued to deteriorate throughout the live stream of this. I really was trying to focus on this Jesse shit, but holy fuck, shit is just continually devolving. Somebody was laying on the ground in pain. I don't know if they got sprayed or something. Again, you were talking about you can't be a pussy. There was a woman. There was a woman walking up and you know, waving their arms out and shit to like, you know, help form the barricade of anti-police state humanoids in front of the police state humanoids, or maybe police state robots versus the humans. Shit's real fucked. They might be shooting some people. Were yelling at fucking shitheads and shit. Again, this is why I don't believe in. I think politics is done. I think, you know me. I love politics. I love reading political theory. You know, I'm still enjoying it. But when shit like this is happening and people are still debating theory, I think we're past that.
Yeah,
Shit's fucked right now in Rochester at this night.
This is something that we kind of talked. I think it was yesterday. It was some point there, but I think it was yesterday, where I personally think the time for talking has passed. It has been missed, and now that the situation has deteriorated so much, and you know, you got all these threats like the Boogs and you know, the whole Antifa and the Black Lives Matter protests, and now that people are starting to become more concrete in their stance against the feds, now at the beginning of the protest, we saw a lot of this. You might still see some of it now, where it's like, well, why don't they protest peacefully? Well, why don't they, you know? By the way, if you say protest peacefully, you know, protest is a peaceful thing. That's a double entendre. Like that's an automatopoeia or something. You know,
pause the peace.
Hyperbole.
Peace would be
oxymoron.
Yeah, peace would be like, so peace would be your day-to-day activities going as normal, right? That's peace and harmony in theory, right?
Yeah.
The point of the protest is to, again, let me explain this real deep and philosophically. The point of protest is to pause the peace and harmony of the, you know, constant flowing day-to-day lives, and to draw attention to your cause, because your cause is affecting your day-to-day life. It's literally taking the energy of shit affecting you and pushing it onto other people who need to fucking help because you're being fucked with. That's the point of protesting. That's as simple as it comes. And no matter how you draw attention to your cause, as long as you have a valid cause, the rebels are always right. Again, if the rebels don't have a valid cause, then they're not always right. But more often than not, the rebels are always right. So that's how it is.
Whenever I saw someone being like they need to protest peacefully, all that means is they are uncomfortable with seeing it, because they're uncomfortable with being on the wrong side, and they don't want to look inwardly and change their mindset that they're okay with the injustice that's going on in the country, and they're okay with like how our government doesn't really care because it doesn't affect them.
They've spent an entire year not caring about anybody, and people still defend them. Like, talk about MK Ultra 2.0.
Yeah. And they're gonna vote for them. These people they don't care. That's how strong racism is in America. They don't care if the people that they vote for are going to do anything for them, as long as they are racist and they can validate buying all that Trump 2020 gear. They are okay. I can be racist because the president's racist, and the president said I can keep all my guns. By the way, I am all for guns. You know, hey, stay strapped to get clapped. You know, that's my stance on it. But I'm also on the stance of dumbasses should not be having guns, and mentally ill people and untrained people should not be having guns.
Quick joke, then we gotta get back to it. But you mentioned the Books earlier. My joke was the Books should announce an outright alliance with Black Lives Matter, because the feds would literally be showing up at their door like they've always claimed they wanted.
Yep.
That would.
That literally be it.
You know, ask Fred Hampton, ask Breonna Taylor about that shit, man. Feds will show up to your door.
No knock warrant your ass and kill you in the process, and then take a fucking bullshit ass plea deal to your boyfriend just for him to deny it.
That's bullshit. I don't trust anything in that absolute situation, and the fact that
Dude.
that's how it unplayed is further proof that this shit is complete corrupt.
Yeah, I know you.
I
You
don't
probably,
trust
I know I've met people like this, and you probably have too, where they're like, I keep a gun under my pillow in case someone breaks into my house and I gotta shoot them. That's literally what Breonna Taylor's boyfriend did, and they say he's wrong. So if you want to know how dumb a lot of these Trump supporters
Yeah.
are, that's it. They are so dumb that they contradict themselves. They are hypocrites. They are just mindless zombies that don't really think for themselves. All they waiting on is Palpatine to call Order 66, and that's all they're good for.
You know, Jesse and what was it Bret Weinstein, Bert Weinstein? They get into something similar about how the government does is do unconstitutional shit. And,
Yeah.
And this and the Breonna Taylor incident is literally, again, like it proves how false and cronyous the fucking NRA is. Like, this is a complete and utter simple issue. The government was completely acting illegally and like a fucking army gang occupying force, and they infringed upon civil liberties. Not complicated, but yet they make this issue
Yeah,
complicated.
it's a real open and shut case.
It's
But they're making it to where it's not
Yeah.
that. Especially when they're like, "Oh, take this plea deal. Say Breonna Taylor was involved in drug trafficking," and he's like, "Well, she wasn't." You know, literally try and justify us for killing your girlfriend.
I know, again, and it's like, even if you play devil's advocate, it's like, if they were selling drugs, it doesn't give you the right to go in and slaughter them, okay? It's
Exactly.
complicated. This is not complicated, but they
They're not
pretend it
supposed
is.
to be Roman death squads.
Yeah, you're not supposed to just walk in and shoot people. Especially if they're drug dealers, but not fucking drug murderers. Like, like, Jesus, man. Like, again, the fact that we have to explain how law works and how escalation of law works. Like, you know, if a guy goes around and slaps you and you call the cops on him, they shouldn't show up and murder them. But if a guy murders you, you called the cops while you were dying and they show up and murder him, it's debatable, okay? It's not complicated. They act like this shit is complicated, that, like, lefties and people won't understand cops murdering people if they deserved it. It's like, we can debate that, sure, that's what the point of law is. But the fact that you guys want to debate shit that isn't debatable is the issue.
Because we got to get through all the dumb shit to get to the
Like-
shit that's actually debatable.
Yeah, that's the
You
point.
know?
That they want to overload you with propaganda and all fucking mind control bullshit.
If you get the cops
confuse
called
you.
on you for playing Crash Bandicoot
Oh,
and making
God.
salsa, it shouldn't be a fucking death
Yeah.
sentence.
But exactly, because some motherfucker wants to quote unquote get his sleep. Like, you deserve to die. It's like, what
He called a
country
hit
is
on
this?
his fucking neighbor.
Yes.
He called a hit on his neighbor.
100%.
You know, that is 100% what happened. The cops were hiding from the peephole. Immediately, as soon as the door opens, without question, they killed him. And then they go take his girlfriend off to the side and try and justify why they killed him.
It's
As she's crying her eyes out as her boyfriend's now dead.
just total bullshit. That's why I said we're past this. The government is illegal. You know, Jefferson laid this shit out simply for motherfuckers. No matter how fucked in the head he was, he laid it out simply. Declaration of Independence, first goddamn paragraph is extremely fucking clear. We have every goddamn right to not respect the will of a corrupt government. Because that's what they did. And if we are the same country as them, then we should follow the same ideological shit when it comes to purity of morality or whatever. And being against tyranny, we all agree on.
No,
So-
we don't all agree. That's
I know.
the sad part.
That's
we don't
the sad
all
part.
agree.
I know. That's why I said when Jefferson's quote unquote language is more clear on an issue than fucking racist, it's like, you guys are fucked.
All right, you ready to get back to it?
Yeah, that shit's just fucking crazy, dude.
All right, hit and play.
God.
That this plan can work because one of the components that is required of our candidates is that they be patriotic. Right? The other two.
All right, go ahead, Bruce. Explain being patriotic and what it means. And
All right,
falsely
very
means.
quickly. If anyone comes across this video and you're still watching, the definition of patriotic does not mean you are proud of your nation no matter what. You are proud of your nation for the good they have done. If you are
I
proud no
like
matter
that.
what they have done,
I like
that
that.
makes you a nationalist and you're for fascism. It's very cut and clear. A patriot is proud of the good and they admonish the bad. And
I
that's
like
it. Let's go ahead.
Yeah, yeah,
Do
but I
In
appreciate you
play.
saying that though.
Hey, no
Insert
problem, man. That's what
insert
I'm here
Jimmy
for.
shit. When Jesse tells Jimmy, me and you are the real patriots. All right, go ahead. Hit play.
That's literally hidden play.
They have to be capable and they have to be courageous. And I believe if you put two capable, courageous patriots together and you say, the nation needs you, that they will do the right thing, that those characteristics are sufficient to ensure it.
I hope you're right.
Excellent. All right. So if you found yourself in the White House, let's say as part of a partnership, and you needed.
Totally hypothetical now. I don't want to lose my job or my health care by them saying I'm running.
So you're
I want to
dealing.
out verbally right now. I do not want to lose at this time my health care or my job, which I would lose both if I run at this moment. So
Pause. So again, at the quote unquote at this time. So this is why I'm
Yeah.
firmly in the draft Jesse movement. Because as people, even his publicists who runs his Twitter and his haters say on the internet, he's not running, he's not running. He is. He's
That's
not quote unquote running. But again, we're literally, history is literally repeating. We are literally trying to draft Jesse like George Washington was drafted, like Eisenhower was drafted. As we saw in the Eisenhower election, literally graphic shown earlier, who supported the corrupt Democrats during that time period?
the South will
The
rise
South,
again.
the Virginias in the South.
The
We can
Alabamas.
so we're at the very similar point again where we are supporting a populist semi-northerner like Jesse in place of George Washington during a massive amounts of protests across the entire country. This is the most logical what we do based on historical context and precedent.
We have the blueprint to do this. It's been done before. We can definitely do it again.
Yeah,
Um,
fuck that shit.
And the whole I tried to muffle that as much as possible. uh, and to the point is, I think the whole draft Jesse, like, if you say Jesse ain't running, I feel like you're just not in on the joke.
Yeah,
That's that.
You're
that's
right
that
about that,
tongue in
though.
cheek thing.
yeah.
It's like, oh, Jesse's not running, and it's like, we're fucking coming for you, bitch.
Yeah, so
You
so
know?
to Bruce's point, like we'll get to it later another day, but in his speech for the People's Party, it's something similar where he's like, "I'm not running at this time," and it's like it's quite obvious he's not opposed to the Jesse movement. Like at minimum, he's not opposed to it. So I don't understand why we can't build an entire movement around this and tie and add it to the Black Lives Matter and to be fair, and to the anti-federal government movement, the Boogs are supporting. There's no excuse we can't be an umbrella for it,
Exactly.
for a populist movement. There's no excuse. We're pro-liberty, we're pro-freedom, and we're pro-equality. Like, what's so complicated about that? Like, if you're not
Well,
for those things, then we don't fuck with you. Like, these
But
aren't
Aaron,
negotiable.
Pro liberty and pro freedom and pro equality scares me. I don't want people thinking we're equal. I hate it.
That's why I
I
said.
hate it.
And remember, if the Democrats and Republicans split their vote by supporting their morons, that means we have more people to vote for the populist. Think about that.
Exactly.
They split their own
Exactly.
vote because the Democrats and Republicans agree on everything. They just disagree on who's the president. But if everybody who's
that's
not a
gonna
moron,
come up later in this video.
yeah, if everybody who's not a fucking moron unites, we have like 60% compared to their 30 or 35 or whatever. Like, it's not even close.
I think just very eloquently, we gotta stop letting dumbasses represent us on the world stage. we gotta get someone with some cojones, out there. The one thing I would like to see before I kick the bucket and I die and I'm put in the ground is I want to see the president come on TV in some casual clothes, smoking a blunt, smoking a blunt, you know, and just
That's
drinking
me.
a 40 ounce, you
Not
know.
that part though. Drinking some whisk,
Just drinking
like Julian,
it's,
one in one
yeah,
hand,
you know,
a
drinking
Julian
some
cup in the
whiskey and
other.
being like, yo, this is my State of the Union address. You know, this is what I plan on doing.
We're running a real
You
chill campaign. No death
know.
squads. We might send some squads with some alcohol or weed to come chill with you. You know, okay, Barney's joke from I Met Your Mother. You know what would solve the Israel-Palestine issue? Gaza strippers. Let's all just relax.
Yeah.
Let's give peace a chance. You know, everything might get fucking saved by then.
Yeah, you know, that's what we need. That we just have some dude with some balls, being like, bro, fuck your speeches. You know, I'm shooting from the hips, so to speak. Like, I'm calling y'all out. You know, like fuck your professionalism. I think we're at the point where we don't want no by the book guy. We want someone who's, you know, what the Trump supporters said Trump was like.
Yeah.
Oh, he's he's very brash, you know, but we want someone who's not gonna be flaky and who's not a racist rapist. Very simple, very simple. Someone who's actually about freedom and liberty. Someone who's actually about the real, actual American values that
This is
these fake right wingers say that they're about, but they're only about the racist shit.
Are you ready to play?
Yeah, hit and play.
completely hypothetical.
It's
Go
a
ahead.
thought. It's a thought experiment. Nobody has been drafted.
Very good.
Draft.
So in this thought experiment, let's say you found yourself.
To your point, he
Drafted like it's the
literally
NFL.
says that. He literally says nobody has been drafted. Oh,
Exactly. It's like
This is
I
what-
said.
you said
it's
that,
a
yeah.
big joke, and we're all in on it.
oh my god! Hashtag one big club.
One big club.
All right, it just makes me happy.
Yeah, hit play.
In the White House, elected through, I don't want to call it a third party because I don't think of Unity 2020 as a third party, but it is
All right, real quick pause. So he literally says, and it's not even as a party. Draft movement
Yeah.
isn't a party based either.
Yeah, so
I know he's pushing his shit, but I'm pushing my shit too.
that's what I'm saying. It's just a joke. It's like, of course Jesse's not running for president, and of course he's not. That's the whole point.
Good point. All right, go ahead and
Point's
play.
Hit play.
outside of the two-party system. If you were to be elected as part of that structure and you were faced with a Congress that was composed of members of the duopoly, do you think you'd be able to work with them to get things done?
Well, I already did it.
Tell me.
You're talking to the only guy that you got on your list of 6 who's already did it. When I was elected in Minnesota, I was by myself. We had no independents. We did gain one. One Democrat got booted up north, a great guy, and I fought for him and got him a minority position. So they had to honor him as a minority representative. He was our only one halfway through. But getting back on track, when I got elected, I had a Democratic Senate and a Republican House, right? For the first 3 years, whoever I sided with generally prevailed because it was 2-1. For the first, let me say that again, the first 3 years. I can tell you exactly what will happen. Been there, done that. Third year is when the Democrats and Republicans jumped in bed together. They started singing Kumbaya by the fire together, reunited the state of Minnesota's Democratic and Republican parties to oppose who? Me, the common sense middle. Now they're in bed against me in my third year. My job as governor is to submit the budget. I submitted the budget. They declined it. They came back with their own budget, not the governor's budget, their budget. It was fiscally irresponsible. I vetoed it. They sent it back a second. They overrode my veto, sent it back to me a second time. I vetoed it again, which was all that I could do. They overrode me a second time, and that budget went into effect. Well, they thought they were going to get me with that budget because I'd now have to operate under it. So that was one of the reasons, as well as multiple others, why I didn't seek re-election. I didn't want to operate on their budget because I knew it was fiscally irresponsible to do so. Lo and behold, I was right. What happened after I left office? They were banking on a strong economy. They were rolling the dice that was going to happen. Not good policy fiscally to gamble with the people's money. They failed. Minnesota had a $5 billion deficit they had to deal with. Why? Because the Democrats and Republicans teamed up and got political together to overrule the seated governor who brought forward a fiscally responsible budget, but they didn't want none of that. They were going to exercise their power. So see, I've been there and done that. I know exactly how it would work. If I were...
All right, so Bruce, you want to make your point.
All right, so just as Jesse talks about them making a gamble with the budget and the people's money, this is exactly what happened in the '08 crisis. Banks and the elites were gambling money against people's mortgages and shit. They were playing with money that wasn't theirs, and it all blew up in their faces. And what did it do? It affected everybody. So, very simply, if you want to write it into law, something that shouldn't even be said, something that's common sense, is you don't play with money that's not yours. If I or Aaron go to a casino, I cannot bet money that ain't mine. I can't play the game like that. So very simply, neither should the feds. It should be very illegal and damn right treasonous to do so, because you are working against the American people, and essentially you are only doing it for your personal gain and for your own personal fucking boredom, and that's not what elected officials should be doing. Very simple shit.
Yeah, to Bruce's and Jesse's point, it's just that the government absolutely does not give a damn about the people or how to handle money properly and all that other shit. And also, so I want to point out, in that little segment there, it also, the point is, remember, Jesse has done this, and is primed for it to do a complete. He's literally got into. He's been a mayor, he's been the governor. He got thrown into it, as he pointed to, a split House and Senate, and he's gone in there as an independent before, and again, we'd be asking him to do the same thing. Get into a house divided, and so it's like it's that all that bullshit. Oh, Trump has no experience, and that didn't matter. He knows how to serve the oligarchs the same as any other politician, no matter how much experience they have. But so for the positive though, Jesse has gone through this. Not to mention a populace that is more than primed to go in to the streets and explain to the morons populist ideologies. like people are ready. The movement's ready. The shit's cocked, man. This is a powder keg waiting to happen to overthrow the U.S. government. But with the populism.
Even more of that point, the Dems and Republicans, as they united to stop him, that whole scheme that the Democrats and Republicans are two different entities is nothing but such an elaborate lie.
Truth. One big club.
They are one big club. They're all cool with each other. This is all, like wrestling. How like they go on stage, they yell at each other. We finna come up on AOC, how AOC can go give his whole speech about how, this budget is trash, these guys are shit, you guys are shit, and she'll still vote for it anyway.
Vote for it anyways.
She'll vote anyway. So it just goes to show you that the people in power right now, they will actually get off their asses to do their job only to screw you over.
Mm-hmm.
They won't do it to help you.
That's why I think the whole system needs to go. I don't think
the entire system is definitely fucked.
Taking out incumbents is going to solve the issue.
We've been trying
quick enough.
You're exactly right. We've been trying. We've been trying
4 years
to do
they've been
it
trying.
Their way. We've been trying to do it their way. And that's the issue. We cannot operate in a corrupt system. That's the whole point. You cannot succeed when the cards are stacked against you. If you ever played Fallout 76, you know the intro I'm about to quote. The game was rigged from the start. You never had a chance to win. You cannot succeed when both parties that are feigning like they're at each other's throats are actually secretly working together, and they're all, passing around the same fucking monopoly money and just burning it. I'm pretty sure there's a picture out there somewhere of the dude that lights $100 bill to light his cigarette. That's just what they do with money, man. They don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck about the people. They don't give a fuck about the country, the Constitution. They don't care. They gotta go.
So the core reason why I wanted to make this vid is for that point. I think we're truly past the point of the Trumps, the Bidens, the Mark Charleses. 'Cause he's not Medicare for all. I don't trust him. The Joe Jorgensens and the Howie Hawkins. I think we're well past there. I think it's draft Jesse. It's draft Congress. It's draft every political position. Even draft Senate, even though it's not a Senate year for some of for the seats, I believe. Every position with D's and R's has to go, and it needs to be a hashtag draft candidate. I mean, like, I don't like. I think this is logically the most reasonable solution. I think anything else is not enough to save the government, to save the people, to save the earth, to save the country, to save humanity for the military-industrial like anything else is just not enough. I think it's incrementalism. That's what
exactly.
So
We need radical change, and if you are some, hard-wing conservative, and you somehow made it through this video with us shitting on you the whole way there, the whole way here, just know the founding fathers were left-wing radicals.
a lot of them were. That's the crazy part.
That
Jefferson wasn't.
Most of them.
Second
were.
president John Adams wasn't. But Washington, Hamilton, Madison for the early part, Thomas Paine for when he mattered, Ben Franklin towards the end of his life, he was an abolitionist. Some of them came around to logic.
We're just at a we're at a point in, we're in a point of living history. We're seeing that happen. If we live through this, hopefully I get to tell Axios about how we lived through this shit, and I can tell my grandkids about how we lived through this shit. If we make it out. I hope we make it out. I'm gonna do everything I fucking can. But we're in a point in history where I can clearly see we're reaching the point in the timeline where it's gonna split. We can either choose the darkest timeline or the light timeline. We can choose our good ending or our bad ending.
I think it's now.
Yeah, exactly. We're at that point.
I thought
where
2016
I don't
was
care.
Interesting.
It was a setup. It was a setup to the final boss.
Yeah. Because
Because
I voted Jill, and like I said, I don't regret that. But I have zero chance in hell I'll vote for Howie Hawkins. Okay? And
Yeah.
again, I'm not a party supporter. I've always been independent. I will always be, unless I have my own goddamn party.
New Tyrants of America plug.
Yeah, something like that. Exactly. Fucking people that aren't morons party.
The very simple way I put it is I was a hardcore Bernie supporter and I was a hardcore Tulsi supporter. I was all for both of them, and they both stabbed me in the back. And we're reaching that point where it's like if someone came along and said, "Yo, I am this country's only hope. If I don't make it, burn the whole thing down."
That's
We're
me.
we're literally at that point.
That's my campaign.
If
Except they may burn it
nothing-
down, though. Then it's I told
well,
you
that's-
so's.
That's
I
my
give you a
campaign.
chance. You did vote
That's
for the
my
fucking
campaign.
Jesus Christ of politics. You're fucked. Haha.
That's my thing. Like, if the tyrant couldn't get it done, just start over. Hit a big old reset button. We have to scale back our empire and operate within our borders. We have problems at home that need fixing. That clearly the people in power have no interest in solving, as our bunker boy has clearly demonstrated. But
I just think that, I think Jesse proves, something I learned from Jesse really is that populism, just like everything else, is a thing. It is something.
should be easy.
There's always for absolute majority of the policy issues, there's a right and wrong answer. There's varying degrees on the right answer, of course, and calibrating it. But I still believe populism is a theory of politics that I think isn't fucking pie
It's
in
not
the
rocket
sky.
science. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's something that's impossible to figure out, and I don't think it's something that's a myth. Like, I truly think that it's a thing, and everything less is just division amongst the people.
There's a lot
And I
of-
know the founding fathers believed in that too, because they were hella against parties, as Jesse points out in one of his speeches. And I've seen as soon as Madison and Jefferson start forming the Republican Party, you could see the fucked of shit. And when the Federalist Party starts getting built, you're like, you guys are a little too monarchy style people, and you can just see the end coming, like right off the bat. Just like how the founding fathers were able to see the Civil War coming, reading how the Republican Party got built and the Federalist ideology coalition or whatever got built. You're like, oh man, this is fucked right off the bat.
Yeah.
I think
I think
Jefferson was right, man. I think parties are fucked.
They are. You shouldn't. You should not be voting on someone based off what animal and color they rep.
gang shit.
If you want to be a part of a gang, go to the hood. Very simple. Go run drugs for somebody. They'll be happy to have you. Be a fall guy for someone, most likely. Probably just be the fall guy.
All right, this is part 1 because we got sidetracked with some shit, but this is really fucking
Yeah.
good. Is there anything you want to finish up with? And then we'll finish up part 2 of this Jesse speech.
Be sure to tune in to part 2 if you're enjoying yourselves.
All right, thanks for watching. Peace out.